Nuclear energy is seen as an experimental form of energy production, with many people lacking trust in its practice. And to be fair, there's maybe been one or two incidents regarding nuclear energy. Most people hear the word nuclear and think of things like Chernobyl and Fukushima and are immediately scared off. However, nuclear energy has some incredible benefits, both in efficiency and safety, thanks to what modern technology has to offer. Now, it's worth noting that the most recent nuclear accident occurred in 2011, that being the Fukushima incident. There's quite a reasonable explanation as to why this happened. Here is a map of Japan's seismic activity, and here is where they built the reactor. So, what have we learned from this? Don't build your reactors on land prone to seismic friggin' activity. But on a more positive note, we haven't had a nuclear accident for 10 plus years, and if you look before 2011, they were occurring almost every 2 to 4 years, so I think it's safe to say nuclear energy has come a long way in regards to safety. However, despite being a clean source of energy, there's still some dirty work that has to be done when it comes to the uranium used in the process. But there's a solution, and many people consider it the future of nuclear technology. I would like to introduce thorium. Imagine every issue that comes with uranium. Thorium probably has the solution to it, and you name it: mining, safer; cost, cheaper; energy production, greater; hotel, Trivago. So let's start with the power output of thorium, because we're all about the gains here. 1 ton of thorium can produce the same amount of energy as 200 tons of uranium, or 3.5 million tons of coal. This is because thorium utilizes 99% of its potential energy, while uranium uses less than 1%. Let me put this into perspective for a second. 1 gram of natural uranium can produce 700 million joules of energy. Therefore, 1 ton of thorium can create 140 quadrillion joules. That is 17 zeros. To further this perspective, I present to you the Mcchicken Comparison. You may be wondering, what do McChickens have to do with thorium? And to that I say, shut up, I'm getting there. The standard McChicken has an average of 272 calories. This can be converted into 1,541.4 joules of energy under ideal conditions. This means someone would have to eat 908 trillion McChickens to get the same amount of energy as simply eating 1 ton of thorium. That's also enough McChickens to cover just over half, or 51.4%, of the moon's surface in McChickens. Either that or 51.5 moons. I'm not sure, I got caught up in calculations. So we've established the benefits of thorium regarding power output. Now let's talk about actually getting the stuff into the reactors, starting from square one, the mining of thorium. You may think that because thorium's energy production is so efficient, it's probably rarer than a working ice cream machine at McDonald's. However, thorium occurs quite frequently in Earth's crust. In fact, thorium is almost 3 times as common as uranium, and having relatively similar numbers to that of lead. When it comes to the actual mining of thorium, there's normally a greater amount of usable thorium in its ore than uranium, thus making it more cost effective. And it can be mined in an open pit mine compared to uranium mines, which need to be closed off to contain the radon gas. That also needs to be equipped with expensive ventilation systems so that the workers don't turn into radioactive Goombas. So overall, you need to put in more time and money into uranium to get the same amount of thorium, which took far less work. So now we move on to the actual energy production, and how thorium is still superior to uranium in this regard as well. Once you have your enriched uranium, it's pretty much ready to go and start making energy on its own. And this may initially sound like a good thing, but if something bad happens and you need to shut it down, then you're really screwed because uranium isn't going to stop for anything, and we all know how well that goes.
There has been a nuclear accident in the Soviet Union, and the Soviets have admitted that it happened. The Soviet version is this. One of the atomic reactors at the Chernobyl atomic power plant near the city of Kiev was damaged, and there is speculation in Moscow that people were...
So how is thorium any better in this scenario? Well, it mostly has to do with the fact that uranium is a fissile material, and thorium is a fertile material. meaning that there's not much thorium can do on its own, so it needs a small helper material like plutonium in order to get the ball rolling. And while some may see this as a disadvantage, it's far safer because in case of an emergency, you can separate the helper material from the thorium and stop the reaction. This is also why thorium is so difficult to weaponize, which is another bonus. So with all these benefits at play, the effectiveness, the efficiency, the safety, why are we not using thorium right now? The answer lies in its inability to weaponize, because when nuclear energy started to gain popularity in the 60s, everybody was still using coal power and had no major incentives to change their tried and true power source. But you know what else was conveniently going on in the 60s? By now, the arms race between America and the Soviet Union was in full swing, and both superpowers had their eyes set on nuclear weapons. Naturally, the demand for enriched uranium exponentially increased, and since then, uranium basically became the poster child of nuclear energy from there on. Overall, when comparing thorium to uranium, I like to think of uranium as the kid who falls out of bed into a sea of empty monster cans in the morning and skips class to recover from a hangover. Whereas thorium is the kid who drives his younger siblings to school every day, gets his homework done, and chills on the couch snacking on some flamin' hot Cheetos while watching the new season of Better Call Saul. I kinda went off on a tangent there, but if you're to take anything from this, it's that nuclear energy was given a bad name far too early in its career, and with the help of thorium, we could become one step closer to zero emissions.
If there's any thought, better think of me for a little support.